6 days away from Houston, baby. 6 fucking days. Are you pumped or what?
Yeah. To the moon, baby.
This is Big Chews right here. The young bro.
Yes, sir.
It's official. Andrew has thrown the banger of the year. It's something.
It's something. Something's
A little
fine.
something.
Taco Willie here, aka Willie Games, aka Willie Everything. How much have you lost?
Total, I lost about 100 pounds. Was almost hitting 300. Now I'm at about 195.
The man's a monster. Straight up.
Make sure you follow him, by the way. But yeah, hey, how are you? Are you having fun tonight or what?
I'm chilling, you know, just doing what I do, having fun,
Chilling with the homies.
chilling with the homies.
Come on, you gotta give me more than that.
Gotta go fight for this country next week, so here we are.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hey, and shout out this man. What branch of the military, by the way?
U.S. Marine Corps.
That is the Marine Corps right there. Thank you for your service. Oh, can we even see it? Yeah, it's a fucking banger. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
Last 104 season, here we are.
It's gonna be good. But hey, we'll catch you tomorrow. Oh my gosh, good morning. Well, it's not even actually morning, it's afternoon. It's like 1 or I think it's like 12:30 or something like that. Yeah, to say the least, last night was a bunch of fun. Shout out Andrew. That was actually at his crib, and yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, for the sake of gains, I would not recommend that to most people. Like, try to get your ass to bed a little bit earlier, because I don't know if I said this already, I'm just so damn tired. But yeah, I went to bed at like 5 in the morning. That was RIP. But that's not what this video is about. I just wanted to give you guys a fun little intro clip. Today is Sunday. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but a lot of prep this week, because less than a week from now, we are gonna be in Houston. Exactly a week from now is gonna be like our first big day there, but less than a week, we are going to be there. So super pumped, super excited, and we still got progress we need to make, and there's a lot of content we gotta make too. So yeah, that's the update for now, I guess, but I will kind of walk you guys around. I have a nice idea for us today. What I want to do, I want to take you guys through all my gear, actually. Like what? I'm not talking trenbolone sandwiches, okay, Daryl? I'm talking my camera gear. So, yeah, I want to show you guys what I'm rocking from an equipment standpoint, and just kind of share at least some of the experience that I've had, you know, creating media and all that stuff. But I need a fucking shower. I need to get ready for the day. I'll catch you here in a bit. All right, so I've gotten ready for the day. I'm ready to conquer what we got in store, and what do we have in store. So I need to do all this random shit right here, and would highly recommend getting a calendar for any of y'all people that are trying to be young, successful at whatever you're trying to do. It holds you accountable, and also half the time I literally just forget what I need to do anyway, so throw it in here. But gotta run a few errands, clean this house up again, and also I need to do a bunch of editing tonight. But yeah, I was just gonna show you guys. I mean, like, I used to be really, really big into doing this, and I just remember how much stuff I would get done when I'd like literally do this, and this is by week, like for months and months and months and months and months on end. So yeah, log your stuff, set goals, keep accountability through calendar, share invites. You'll never forget stuff anymore, and you'll be way more productive with your time, you know? Like, you got 24 hours in a day, and you can do whatever you want with it, but you're gonna feel the best when you get the most out of that day, if that makes sense. But I need to go run these errands, and I actually need to let this camera battery charge. So I'm gonna leave this here for now. Or should I? Do you want to come with? I don't know. It's revenge season, so this was April 21st. This is today.
crazy.
Get fucked, pussies.
Crazy.
What do you have to say? You like the results?
It's fucking crazy. I mean, 7 pounds in what, 1 week? Damn near. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm guessing part of it was probably water weight and stuff, but like overall the trends consistently going up and body fat staying low.
That's the part that matters. Now we're gonna top out at like 110 muscle mass before we hit Houston. It's not gonna happen like that. But yeah, and be shreddy status.
Mi Moreno!
Welcome me well.
Here you are, my noble friend. I brought you a taco. And I brought you. You gotta supply the brown boys with the necessary brown fuel.
With the protein.
Protein. Yep, so I stopped by Core Life. I grabbed 4 tacos and then a bowl there as well. Place is fire, by the way. And I'll show you guys here in a second. All right, so this is what we're rocking, by the way. We got this bowl right here. I think it's like, I did double poke and then rice noodles. And then this is I think this is like chicken taco on tortilla. And then this is steak taco on naan. Bro, food's so gas, but it actually is expensive. Like I think I spent like 45 bucks on all of this, but yeah, needed to stop by the boys' cribs. As you can see, a little too much fun last night, but it was a good time. And the floors are sticky as hell. Can't hear it already. All right, so finished up eating that food. I just wanted to chill a little bit, talk to the homies, talk about last night. Last night was fun. As you can see, I'm not whipping my usual whip right now. So, gotta go drop this bad boy off at work. And I'm gonna be stopping by Best Buy. And then after that, I'm gonna get home and I'll show you guys what I got as well, because yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a haul at Best Buy, but I need to get some stuff before I leave for Houston. Just some little random stuff to make sure I am all ready to go for this trip. So I will catch you guys when I get back to my house. Yeah. We are back to the lab and Poppy brought home some presents. So let's see what we got here. Alrighty. Oh shit, I need to make sure I don't lose my receipt on that one. But this is what I ended up snagging from Best Buy. So one, I just snagged this cord because I actually need it for aux in my car. 2 is this battery right here. So this is for my, and I'll talk about it here in a second, my A7 II that I have. This right here is for the ZV-1 that we're filming on right now. And this card is actually for when we go to Houston. So it's 128 gig. I call it the Black Diamond. It reads up to 200 megabytes per second. So basically, if I'm recording like 4K 60, usually I use I call them the golds. So the gold cards read up to, I think it's like 170 megabytes per second. And I just, in my head, I'm thinking, if I record a bunch of 4K 60, then it'll be a bunch of choppy footage. I wanna make sure I have the right card. And I'm dedicating this for basically everything that I'm doing down in Houston. But yeah, that's the setup for now. But these are just the small little baby pieces to the whole entire collection of what we have in the tech arsenal. So now what I wanna do, this is the meat and potatoes of the actual video. I wanna show you guys all the tech that I have. Like what I'm rocking with, how I use it, and see if I can give you guys some little tips and tricks too. So, you know what? I'll catch you in the InSpoCast studio.
Welcome to the InSpoCast headquarters, which is my living room. But yeah, I wanted to take some time, get behind the mic, give some good audio, 1, and 2, like show you guys basically my collection of what I have in terms of tech. And this isn't a video for me to like flex or anything like that, and say like, hey, look, I have all this money. Cause like, honestly, I really don't. And especially trying to start up your own business, I will tell you, yeah, you're going to be pretty dry on cash for a little while, all my money gets reinvested back into, acquiring new assets to be able to go make me more money or whatever that is, just things that I enjoy and I know I want long-term. And I'll talk a little bit about what I'm going to be acquiring long-term, but let's be appreciative for the stuff we have already. And I want to go in a bit of a chronological order. And that chronological order is going to be when I actually acquired some of this stuff, because I didn't have like thousands of dollars at my disposal at one point and just say, I'm going to buy all this stuff. It didn't really happen like that. All of these pieces have been acquired over time and have just kind of built this collection and taken care of my shit too. Well, kind of. We'll talk about some stories there too. But the first one that I probably want to talk about actually is going to be my phone. And everybody has one of these damn things, okay? So I have an iPhone 11 Pro. I got this in December of 2020, so I've had it for almost 2 years. It's got 128 gigs of storage on it. I've maxed it out. I remember, so my grandma actually got this for me. Thank you, Grandma, by the way. And it had, had the triple camera setup, and it was really nice at the time too. I've kind of messed it up since then. But anyways, this is kind of what really started me when it came to like fitness content and posting my stuff more consistently. And even with YouTube starting, like I've looked through my camera roll and shit and seen like videos that I did like at my old apartment when I was in college. But this is the first piece that I ever really acquired that kind of set all this in motion. From there, the next 2 or 3 biggest pieces, I'd say, well, the first biggest piece is going to be, well, I guess what I'm speaking on right now. So this is the Rode Podcasters Essentials Kit. So it came with the dashboard right here, which basically takes all the audio in, and then I can throw it on my computer, and we'll talk about this one in a bit too. 2 mics, 2 stands, and I think it was it. I think that's all that came with it. And I'll talk about pricing for everything too, because I want to be honest about that. And like I said, it's not a flex, but just for people to understand like how much money actually goes into stuff like this, trying to create high quality content. This ran me about $900, and I paid for this in full. I think it was the middle of December, and then it took a few weeks to actually come in. I think I didn't get it till like early January or something like that. I don't know. I have a whole video on it about how I acquired all the equipment. Go check literally one of my first YouTube videos ever. But this thing has been a blessing in disguise. I've had this for basically a year and a half now. I used it on and off while I was in college through 2021. And then I, really started to pick it up again once we started to do the podcast. But that was one. The next one isn't necessarily like a piece of tech, but it's what houses all of my tech. That's this backpack right here. Oh, yes. Well, I should say half of my tech, because the other half, in terms of camera gear, actually goes in my camera bag. But this is, I can't remember the actual name of it, but this is a bag from ASRV Aesthetic Revolution. It's certified military grade material on here. And then I also got this little attachment bag as well. And the whole story behind this bag was, I don't think I told the story on episode 1 of our InSpoCast, but basically I was like literally homeless, and I had like a shitty ass backpack, and I was like walking everywhere. I literally like walked to work and shit. And I was like, you know what? When I get money, I'm going to buy the sickest, baddest fucking backpack ever, because I live out of it, and I don't want to have to settle when it comes to stuff like that. I want to make sure all my shit's taken care of and I have what I want and I feel good wearing this thing. So I went out, and actually I was going to buy it. Shout out my dad for this one too. He actually was the one that bought this for me for Christmas. And then I bought all the attached little like accessory kits and stuff like that. But the backpack was $200. I know this little pack was about $80. So in the backpack about almost $300. But I mean, this thing has been great. Honestly, I mean, I don't have any complaints about it. And like I said, it houses all of my stuff. And I got, like I said, Christmas of 2020. Right around that time, I made one big boy purchase for myself, and that was these headphones. So these are the WH-1000 XM4s for all you tech nerds out there. Basically, Sony's premium over-the-ear noise cancellation headphones. These things are absolutely insane. I remember I love music, and I know a lot of people do, and especially being a gym goer, I was like, bro, I don't want to settle. I don't want to have like crappy ass Apple headphones that suck and just hate my life the whole time. Like, I want something quality. And I went out, bought these. These were $300, I think, out the door, tax and everything. And seriously, like, literally one of the best purchases I've ever made. Like, they have a 24-hour battery life on them. I won't charge these things for like 4 or 5 days, and they'll still be good. And the sound quality and the noise cancellation are on like a completely different level. So that is probably one of my favorite pieces of equipment, and probably one of the few that I have here that I haven't actually fucked up. But the next purchase after that is actually going to be this laptop. So right here, I'm rocking the MacBook Pro 2020 with the M1 chip in it. It's got 256 gigs of storage, and I also threw Final Cut Pro on here as well. This was in March of 2021. And in essence, I had a super crappy laptop, and I really wanted to get into video work and just being able to function on a laptop. Like, I know a lot of times these days, a lot of people can just get away with doing stuff on their phone, and I totally respect that too. I've told a few people, like, the people that can edit on their phone and stuff like that, like, you literally have a one-up on like 90% of people, because you can just sit there, edit your shit really quick, post it. Like, that's crazy to me, but I didn't want that. And also being a college kid as well, you know, I needed a laptop, and I went out, I applied for the Apple credit card, and I had a credit limit of about $2,000, and I went out and I financed this bad boy, and I traded in my old laptop, which was a 2015 MacBook Pro that I bought basically right out of high school for college. And yeah, I never looked back since then. This thing's been great. Definitely, this will be one of the bigger pieces coming down the road, maybe 6-8 months, that will be upgraded. It does have its limitations in terms of processing power, and also we'll get into it, but storage management is the biggest thing I have found out in doing podcasts and doing YouTube and doing production and doing all of these things. And I'm very limited in that regard, and I want to go out and I want to get what I really want. All things considering, I mean, this thing has done me justice, and I've been able to post, I mean, hell, I'm going to post this video through it. All my production page, King Culture Productions, has been through there. Yeah, nothing but great. And on the laptop, I have, like I said, Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, the whole setup so that anything that I want to make, I can do on here, which is awesome. And this one ran me up about $1,700. So as you can see, we're getting up there. Now that's it for like my general tech stuff. Now it's going to go more into the production stuff. And photography was my first love and passion that I actually had. And the first camera that I ever had, now anybody out there that's trying to, you know, do photography, do videography work, whatever, honestly, the camera, I mean, it does matter to an extent, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Like, what you need to learn is, I mean, you need to get a laptop and you need to be able to edit and do all those things. But the first camera that I ever got was this Nikon D80 right here, okay? And wow, some fucking memories with this thing. So this would have actually been, out of all the stuff here, probably the first thing I ever acquired. This was back in my birthday of 2020. This was gifted to me by my mom. So where my love for photography, videography, all those things came from, one, YouTube, but two, my mom. So my mom used to do photography for us as little kids, but also she'd do like weddings and a bunch of other special events. And I remember telling her for my, I think it was like my 22nd birthday, maybe 21st. I can't even remember at this point. I was like, man, I'm saving up all this money. I really want to like get a camera. Like, that's what I want really, really bad. And she's like, why don't you just use mine? And I'm like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, I don't use it and anymore. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. So I took full advantage of that. And over the span of, until I got the new camera, which we'll talk about here soon, I shot 10,000 photos. in fitness settings and lifestyle settings and, you know, everything, and more for recreational use. I mean, even my Instagram and stuff like that, but that's kind of where I fell in love with the high quality media that you see on Instagram and you see on YouTube now. And lens wise, I can't remember what this one is. It's an 18 to 55 mil adjustable lens. It is an f3.5 to 5.6. This right here is a 50 to 200 f. Oh gosh, I gotta remember. It's an f4 to 5.6. So, I mean, definitely not cream of the crop in terms of lenses. But I mean, I had that focal range of 18 to 200 mil. I could shoot anything, and that was huge. The only limitation of that camera that I ended up finding out was that I couldn't shoot video work on it because it's a DSLR. So, that was, I mean, I guess, you can, but like, I mean, that thing was not built to do that. So it was really just photography, and also it was flash photography. So basically for 2 years I was shooting flash, which is, something a lot of people don't do these days for sure. But that's what really kickstarted me. Then once we started building the podcast, this was in 2022, February, March area, the camera that I'm recording on now, that's when that came into play. So what you're seeing right now, what I basically do all of my vlogging stuff on, is the Sony ZV-1. I applied for the Best Buy credit card for that one. I still use that one today. It was an $800 purchase. I picked it up. I drove an hour away to go get this thing because I wanted it immediately so I could start filming. And I remember when I first got it, I used it a lot, especially when, like, in the gym and stuff like that. And then after a little while, I mean, obviously the podcast and stuff like that too, that's what we record the podcast on. But then I kind of was just like, man, I don't really have a purpose for this thing outside of like really just a podcast at this point. Because I kind of started to see like what it does, you know, when in terms of like high quality video media that I was trying to create in the gym. And I was like, this isn't going to do it for me. Because the only limitation of it is, I mean, it's a fixed lens, so I can't put any badass lenses on it. And yeah, the 4K is, I think it's only 30p or something like that. So can't really roll any, 30 frames per second. So I couldn't really roll any B-roll on there or anything. So, but regardless, now, since I've gotten the new camera, which I'll talk about here in a second, I mean, it has definitely served its purpose. Like having this thing, it literally fits in your fucking pocket. Like I literally put it in my pocket and I can pull it out, turn it on really quick and just start filming. And that is powerful. And I hear a lot of YouTubers and vloggers and everybody, a lot of people actually have this camera, and that's what they say as well. And I 100% agree with that. It's better to just record something than to have the biggest, baddest camera in the world and take 10 fucking minutes to be able to just record like 5 seconds of clips, you know? But yes, 100% Sony ZV-1 I would highly recommend as a starter camera for like 90% of people. Also, the other thing was it photos you know, not gonna cap, but versatility with it is fantastic and a great purchase. The next purchase, I want to get to the new camera last, and then I want to get into the future equipment here soon. But throughout the podcast, the thing that I found out was the biggest limitation was going to be storage, because, you know, when you're recording hour, 2 hour, potentially even 3 hour video, I mean, you're running some big files, and obviously, you know, we've done some work to be able to downsize those files a little bit more and still come out with high quality and yada, yada, yada. But regardless, I mean, you know, when you're running 20, 25 podcasts, I mean, you're going to have a lot of storage issues, 100%. And so what I did, and, you know, at the time I was like, fuck, I don't know if I should buy this, but I'm going to. And literally, I thank myself for doing this. But I bought a Sandisk 1 terabyte SSD, and this houses all of my final production media, like everything. I'm telling you, the InSpoCast episodes like 8 through 25 are on here. All of the productions that I've done through King Culture Productions, like everything is on this thing, so that I will never lose them. And it was the best, like $125, $150 I literally ever spent. So that was big. And then the other one was like, well, I got to record these onto some sort of card, you know? And I was like, man, I really need to make investments into stuff like that too. And the cards, are all right here in this little, like, this is the money right here, okay? This is basically houses every single clip of everything that I've ever shot. So like I said earlier, you know, I rock the golds. So I have the Extreme Pluses. They run 170 megabytes per second. These are all 128 gig cards. I have 3 of them in here, and then I have 1 in there. And I also am rocking the Extreme Pro now. So that's going to be for the badass camera that we're renting here soon. And yeah, I mean, like, storage wise, at this point, I have no problems. And it's just like one less thing that I have to worry about, which is huge. And the final piece for me was like, look, dude, like, you want to record high quality shit. Like, that's what you want to do. And that's what I aim to do. You know, I wanted to be able to film and do photography on one camera. And, you know, I just made the purchase on this thing 2 months before, but I was like, you know what, just go in and just do it. You know, you're going to thank yourself later for doing this. And a purchase that I am forever blessed for, and really, like, started me on this journey. But that purchase for me was a Sony A7 II. Now you're probably sitting here like, A7 II, really? You know, there's the A7 III, there's the A7 IV, A7S III, A7 R4, blah, 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 A1. You know, like, there's Canon R5, Canon R6, there's Canon R7. Like, I mean, there's so many cameras I could have went with, right? The thing for me was, at least at the time, was budget, because I wanted to pay for this in cash, and I just wanted to have it, and I didn't want to have to worry about it. And an A7 III, which I think, thinking back on it now, I wish that was the camera I would have went with, because I would still be rocking that long term. But at the same time, still kind of thankful for it, because I'll tell you what the upgrades are coming soon. But this A7 II, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for $680 out the door. Okay. Keep in mind, brand new for this camera is like $1,500. Okay. So I got like over 50% off on this thing. It had a shutter count, and think of shutter count as like miles on a car, okay? The shutter count on this camera was 10,000, okay? Which is really, really low. And that basically means 10,000 clicks, okay? So think about it as like 10,000 miles on a car, right? And these things are rated for X amount of miles, or in this case, shutter count. But I mean, it was a really good purchase. I mean, it had some minor cosmetic issues and stuff like that. You know, I've taken a beating to it for sure doing all these shoots. I actually accidentally cracked the back of the screen on it just slightly. Not anything internally, so we're all good in terms of image quality and stuff like that. But holy fuck, like, having this as my starter has been nothing but great, because it's helped me learn like the Sony ecosystem, how they operate their cameras and stuff like that, and learning their menu settings. But it 100% has limitations. You know, I can record 1080p at 60 frames per second, which is basically what I do all of my content in. And, you know, at the end of the day, the lens is the part that really matters. But there's still limitations within that. And I do want to record 4K. And I want to record not 120 frames per second, because I know this computer cannot handle that. But at least 4K 60, I think that would be a great range for me to shoot in. And yeah. Photography, videography, everything that you've seen recently has been all on this camera. And like I said, super happy I made that purchase. But that was just the camera, okay? Now I needed a lens. And, you know, a lot of photographers, videographers, what they're going to tell you is, you know, really all you need is like 1, maybe 2 camera bodies. And I'm going to keep this thing too, even when I upgrade. But the lens collection is what you really have to work on and develop. And, you know, I spent some time really thinking about it, and I was like, you know, what do I want? Because I got X amount of money I have to spend on, you know, this budget for myself right now. And I wasn't really sure at first. I was like, you know what, having something like a zoom lens or something like that would be nice. But then I was like, you know what, no. Get a fixed lens, okay? And learn how to shoot the best quality shit you can in one focal length, and get, you know, a prime lens is what they're called. And yeah, just learn how to shoot on that. And also it'll be a little bit cheaper than getting like a badass like zoom lens or something like that. And so what I ended up getting was the Sony Zeiss 55mm f 1.8. And this lens is badass, by the way. And I mean, I'm just going to say, like, from a build quality standpoint, dude, this thing is solid. Like, it feels solid. And holy crap. I mean, I've literally shot, like, everything that you've seen, I've shot on this thing. And it's like, yeah, obviously I don't have the zoom capabilities, and I'm limited to 55 mil only, right? So this one fixed range, but 55 millimeter is like the perfect in between. So yes, I cannot do any of my vlogging stuff on here, but it doesn't even matter because I have this camera. I have the ZV-1, so we're good on that. And I can't shoot any of the zoom stuff right now, but that doesn't matter really either. I'm just going to have somebody scoot up, or I'm going to scoot up a little bit more, and we're going to be all good. It's not like I'm shooting, you know, like sports photography or videography or wildlife or anything like that. So no issues, no complaints with this lens. And I bought this from eBay actually for $552 out the door. And this is a $1,000 lens retail. So the biggest piece of advice I could give to anybody in terms of, you know, whether you want to get into photography, videography, is like, the shit does not like come overnight. You're going to have to acquire these pieces over time. And another big thing that I figured out too was basically these are investments that you're going to make, and you have to find a way for yourself to be able to make money from these things. Honestly, if you want to go out there and acquire more stuff, unless you just, you know, have loads of cash on you and you're working a job that makes you 7, 8, 9, 10 grand, and you can just go and invest in this shit, great. I mean, good for you. But you're probably not going to have a lot of time to shoot anyway. So get this stuff, put it to use, man. And I remember when I bought this thing, I had no intention of like doing any, you know, paid gigs or anything like that. You know, at first I literally just did it for friends, some family members, and people just started to catch on and were like, dude, you're really good at this. Like, what do you charge? And, you know, that's something I learned from LT Visual as well, of like, you don't know exactly what you're, like, I didn't know what I was worth at the time, but you figure it out. You know, because I took on some projects early on, and man, I really shot myself in the foot because I was doing it for real cheap for how much effort I was putting into it. Like, maybe, hey bro, I'll do this sick 1 minute edit for you for like $50 or something, and then like I'm 8, 9, 10 hours into a project. You know, I got to redo some stuff. You know, doesn't get approved by the dude, or blah blah blah, whatever, right? And it's like, what, you making like $5 an hour or some shit like that, which is not very good. And so I've kind of figured out like, okay, hey, look, you know, I have a systematic format about how I go about my edits. This is basically my price, take it or fucking leave it, you know, and support local business too. But I mean, basically last month, we'll talk a little bit about, you know, financials. I was actually able to pull about $1,000 from this setup alone. And, you know, I'm in the camera 680, I'm in the lens 500. I'm in the camera, like, what is that? Or sorry, 550. So I'm in the camera about $1,200. So I've almost made my money back in a month on this thing. And that's what's allowed me to be able to see like, okay, now I can actually go get what I want. All right. And so, man, I was going to save it, but for the next video, but I think I'm going to spoil it because I hope you guys made it this far, but for the people that don't, you're going to be really fucking surprised. Okay. So, like I said, you know, going down to Houston here in less than a week, and super fucking pumped about it, by the way. But you know, I want to go down there. I want to do some gigs. I want to show people what I'm capable of, especially from a media side. And I want to go out there and I want to use what I see for myself long-term, me actually using. And the two things that I'm going to be renting. So I'm bringing all of this equipment, but I want a badass camera. Like, I want the one that I know I'm going to use long-term. And so I'm actually renting a Sony a7 IV. Okay. That's a $2,500 camera right there. Okay. Now it shoots 4K, 60 frames per second. It's a APS-C crop of 1.5 times. So basically, if you're rocking a 55 mil lens on it, it's going to basically crop it in, oversample it, and put it at like an 85 mil. But that shit doesn't even matter to me. If I can record 4K 60, I'm cool with that. And you know, the lens that I'm renting too, that, you know, one of those two is going to be my next purchase. And the lens is a pretty staple lens when it comes to the Sony series, but is the Sony G Master f2.8 24 to 70 mil. motherfucker is badass, dude. You're shooting 24 to 70 mil at f2.8. It has that whole range, and I see all the reviews on it. I mean, it's crystal clear from 24 to 70. So, have the capabilities of actually shooting a little bit more vlogging content at 24 mil. I don't know. We'll see. And then going all the way up into that range of 70 mil, more of the telephoto zoom type of vibe. And I mean, I just know from a shooting standpoint, having that flexibility, being able to get different angles and things like that is going to be fucking huge. So yeah, I'm spending about $500 on the rental for about 2 weeks. But the reason I'm doing it is because I want to know, like, is this what I actually want to get long term? Or do I want a different setup? And I don't know. We will see. And also, side note, the very last thing I forgot about, 2 things. One was I have an ND filter, which is basically, think of it as like sunglasses for your camera. When it's really, really bright out, instead of cranking up all your fucking settings, try to get like a half decent image. You just throw that on there and it's going to help filter some of the UV light. And the other one is this fucking mouse right here. Okay. You're like, bro, you spent money on a fucking mouse? Hell yeah, I did. This is the Logitech MX Master 3, MX Master 3. It has programmable buttons on it. It helps me scroll through my timeline. I don't even have to fucking basically even touch my keyboard with this thing. Like, it's absurd. I don't know. I'd spent $100 on it. And at the time I was like, I just want a dope ass mouse. And I looked up some reviews on it, but like getting to use it, I'm like, okay, this thing is actually badass. So yeah, that is what I have in the collection, in terms of equipment. And obviously you can see there's going to be more developing here soon. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little taste. And like I said, all this is coming down to Houston with us too. And we're going to be making some really good stuff. So stay tuned for that. I hope you liked the little snippets from last night, and some of the clips from today, but I'm going to wrap it up here. There's going to be more workout footage to come. I'm going to have this episode, cause it's Sunday right now, probably going to air around Wednesday. And then I'm going to have one more that I'm going to do this week, dropping probably around Friday or Saturday as we're about to head to Houston. And then we're going to be doing a video every single day. That's the goal, at least, while we're down in Houston. So thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. And yeah, super excited to show you guys what comes here soon. But until next time, my friends, I'll catch you soon. Peace.